of course, when you open up about an experience, so many of those emotions and feelings come back, and it was a challenge to kind of relive that moment, but at the same time, I felt that, I was at a place where I've healed and I can speak about it.
The following content contains references to suicide, which may be triggering to some audiences. If you or someone you know needs help, call or text 988.
She took the crown when she was only 19.
I am Angela Lee Pucci.
At atomweight, she is undefeated.
I'm 26 years old.
She is unstoppable.
I am a sister, a daughter, a wife, a mother, a world champion, a fighter, a survivor. This sounds like the start of any other interview that I've given in my past 9 years of being a professional MMA fighter.
Hi, I'm Angela Lee. I'm Angela Lee. This is Angela Lee from One Champion.
But it's not. In 2017, I attempted suicide.
Thank you again so much for doing this, Angela. First off, just tell me about Fightstory and kind of what it's all about.
Sure. So Fightstory is a mental health nonprofit organization that I founded just this year. I founded it in honor of my sister, Victoria Lee. Fightstory is created to, I guess, unite everyone, unite the world, fighters from all walks of life, not just the fighters you see inside of the cage, but, people at the store, your teachers, people in all the work fields. Everyone goes through a struggle or a battle. And so that's kind of what we wanted Fightstory to represent, this whole community and connecting the combat sports world with the rest of the world, essentially.
As yourself a professional athlete and other athletes here in the state and around the world, they're kind of perceived as almost indestructible or, kind of on this pedestal. Talk about how this kind of breaks down those walls and allows them to be vulnerable.
This kind of honesty and transparency is what's needed, for the athletes, for the fighters, and for everyone else who's a fan, who's watching them as well. I think it's really important showing the full picture. So many times everyone just sees the highlight reels, sees, the victories and everything that's going well. And that's really just not even 10% of the full journey of what we go through. And, I think that if we're able to share more, and of course, I'm not here to be like telling all the other athletes, tell everyone about everything that's going on in your life. Like, no, but if you're able to, especially for the athletes on social media, social media is a place where just all your highlights live and all of the, the wonderful things in your life. And that's, it's a great thing to share. I do the same with, what's happened in my life, my achievements, my family. But also I think that we're in a position where we can speak to a large majority of people and connect with them in a unique way. When we let that guard down, let that shield down, we're able to, people are able to relate to us. And I think that's important, not just putting all the good out there, but also sharing, the hard times, the struggles, and how you've overcome them. The main goal is to share these experiences, how we've navigated through the storm. And I know that can help other people who are going through the same.
And you have since, opened up about some of your own struggles as far as mental health goes. Talk about how much courage it took for you to, be that vulnerable, and kind of how it felt after you let kind of the world know what you were going through.
Of course, when you open up about an experience, so many of those emotions and feelings come back, and it was a challenge to kind of relive that moment, but at the same time, I felt that, I was at a place where I've healed and I can speak about it, because I know that I wanted that experience I went through to help someone else who may be going through the same thing. And that was kind of my focus, and what I kept going back to was that I know that this moment may be difficult for me, may be uncomfortable, but if it can help just one person, if someone can feel, connected to that, or it can help them in some way, then, I thought that it would be worth it.
And to that point, talk about how maybe your impact to Hawaii's next generation of girls or athletes, how has that changed since, opening up about your struggles?
I actually feel they're very connected. And my journey through martial arts and MMA, I feel like I was meant to have that path and walk that road so that I can speak about what I'm doing now with mental health. And, MMA is very much physical, but bringing in that mental health aspect and talking about both sides of them, because they're very much, one and the same. And I think that's going to be the key to this, speaking to this next generation of kids and youth, sharing that, what you're doing in your sport, or what you're doing, for your physical health, it affects your mental health, and your mental health is going to affect your physical health. And I think just talking about it is going to be, the first step, and, informing and educating the next generation, but they're very open to it. And then that's what I'm seeing. There's so much information out there too. It's just about gathering the right information and putting it in a safe place that's accountable, that's credible. And I'm hoping that's what Fightstory is going to be, somewhere where, kids and, adults, everyone can go to and, access information, education, and get the support they need as well.
And I saw on the website, there's all the resources, of course, but there is also podcasts that says coming soon, and other things on the site that are yet to be announced. Kind of what's the hope for Fightstory in the near future?
Yes, I'm so excited about everything we have in store for Fightstory and our programs, of what we're gonna actually be able to do, on the grounds, helping people in our community. For Fightstory, I wanted to make sure that these two things were always kind of our guiding lights. One, honoring our past experiences and the struggles and adversities that we've overcome. So that's going to be shared through the podcast and videos. And then two, taking a proactive approach to education about mental health and mental wellness. In sports and combat sports, but also just in life. This is something that every single one of us could benefit from. So with that in mind, the programs that we're going to have, an online course that will be, sorry, let me just take a second to think about this. So we're planning on having an online course, making it accessible for everyone around the world. And we're going to have different courses, for different groups of people. So we'll have one specifically for combat sports athletes, we'll have one specifically for youth, and then we'll have one for just the general public, everyone. And then these courses will have, you know, a breakdown of all things that could benefit your health. So mental health and physical health, talking about nutrition, recovery, emotional well-being, and how these things are all interconnected. And then moving forward, we'll also have a wellness retreat or camp here in Hawaii, and also a grappling event. So we're going to have you know, a special grappling event here in Hawaii next year, where we'll be raising awareness of mental health and, you know, promoting Fightstory, but then also engaging the community in bringing the world of combat sports and also what we're doing for mental health and bringing them both together. So lots of exciting things coming in the future. But first we need to be able to raise the funds so that we can create these programs.
I noticed that, you know, mom is on there, your husband. Talk about how maybe your family and just the people closest around you have kind of helped you build Fightstory. I'm
very, very grateful to have so many supportive individuals on our team at Fightstory. You know, my good friends, Mariah Miller, Aaron Standage, and you know, many others who are working hard daily to make sure that, you know, Fightstory can reach the people that it's needed so that we can carry out our mission. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be able to do this on my own, and so I heavily rely on my team, my board of directors. You know, we all band together to move forward with Fightstory, and we're all aligned with the mission, and it all affects us in our own unique ways. And I think that's the main key to having something, you know, successful, is having people on board that truly 1000% believe in the mission and are affected by it in their own personal way.
Switching tones a little bit, you recently retired from one championship. Take us back to that night and kind of, you know, what was the emotions like in that moment when you made that announcement, and kind of what led up to you, you know, announcing it to that entire arena?
Yes, that trip was okay. You know, that trip was packed with a lot of things, and I didn't really know what to expect because it was different than any other trips we've taken before.
This year has been the hardest year of my life. The last thing I want to say is this, you know, to the fighters and to everyone out there watching right now, is that the greatest battle we will ever face won't be with an opponent standing in front of us. The greatest battle will be within ourselves. We all go through struggles, but we all fight. And each day, we are victorious when we choose to rise up in the face of adversity. So thank you guys so much. I love you. Thank you.
Lots of emotions involved, but, you know, after I gave my speech and I laid my belt down in the cage, I just, you know, had this feeling with me the whole time that, you know, that this was the right thing to do, that this was the right moment to do it. And, you know, many people have asked me, are we going to see you come back in a year or a few years from now? And I said, no, I don't think so. You know, I think that there's a time and place for everything, and I'm at peace with closing that chapter and very grateful for everything that's happened during those years. But, you know, I'm very much looking forward to this new chapter with Fightstory and the work that we're going to be doing.
And you get to spend a little more time being a mom, right?
A lot more time, yes. It is a challenge, you know, trying to balance, you know, work and also being a mom to my 2-year-old. But So grateful for each moment and the time that I have with her, because I know, I'm not going to get that back. So just, yeah, truly cherishing each moment.
And lastly, just what is your message to any student athlete that might be struggling with their own mental health or any of their other mental struggles that they might be facing right now?
That is a great, topic to talk about, because, well, one, from experience, I know exactly what that feels like, and the pressures that you're dealing with, they are very real. And I can say that I understand. I can also say that now that I've kind of walked that journey, that though it may seem the most important thing in your life right now and the biggest thing in your life, it's just a small moment compared to all that you have in store for you. And so, the pressure of getting your grades, getting the right grades, performing, all of these things are very much real, and I can totally relate. But also just keep in mind that the bigger picture is that your health is most important, and that's what you should be prioritizing over any grade, scholarship, sport, accolade. And I think that, needs to be said. And for parents as well who are listening, and coaches, please, nothing is more important than your children's health.
Again, thank you so much for sitting down and chatting with me today. I really appreciate it.
There's a small voice inside of you who knows you may need help. And that's the hardest part, the first step, speaking up. The world is a better place with you here. Hope is real, and you can get through this.